everybody, and welcome to episode 24 of the All Four Back podcast. I am your host for tonight, Hadlington83. I am joined, as always, by Shads.
Good evening.
Good evening, Shads. And we're joined tonight by our guest presenter, Mr. Alan McNally. Good evening, Alan.
Good evening, Mr. Adlington. Good evening,
Good
everybody.
Evening. Just to start off with a note that some people notice, obviously, that Dan's not here tonight. Unfortunately, he had a bit of bad news about a friend, unfortunately, a couple of days ago. So thoughts are with you, Dan, and with your friend's family before we continue. So looking ahead for tonight, the episode breakdown, as you can see there on your screen, we'll be doing the reviews for the 3 league meetings that have happened in the first week. We'll be having a little bit of a focus on new riders to the British League and then the Knockout Cup previews. And also towards the end of the show, there will be the draw for the 14 tournament tracks, because originally two different tracks were drawn for the semi-final and final, and it's only on one track. And we also have a GP announcement at the end of the show. So we'll start as we mean to go on. And the first review we'll be looking at is from the first match of the league season, which was streamed live. And it was Birmingham Wolves against the Newcastle Piemen. And we'll pass over to Shads on his thoughts about this one.
Yeah, what a meeting to get the season rolling, eh? Yeah, this had everything. I mean, Wolves started off well, 4-2s, scared 4-2s, and then they sort of took a bit of a lead. Hyman fought back as they do. Harris was his usual self, scoring points, top of number one there. And Sizzler as well with his electric gating. But then it all went wrong. It all went wrong in the last heat where him and Josie had a bit of a clash, and gifted Bewitcher the win and the draw. That was a fantastic meeting to watch. I mean, we was glued to the screen. You just didn't know which way it was going to go right to the end. It looked pretty good for Pyman up to heat 11, and then Bewitcher threw himself in, tactical substitute, replacing Newhads.
Yeah.
And the 5-1 got them back in it, and another 5-1 to them. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant meeting. Really enjoyed it. Special mention to Bewitcher as well. I mean, he had a couple of seasons where he's not been at his best, but he's back with a bang. He was back with a bang on Sunday. Perfect score, paid 15.
Yeah, absolutely agree there. He did actually lead by example well. Obviously, I was part of that meeting.
Also got to mention Wolfie. I mean, he's not known for starting his seasons off very well. But paid 10. He'd be very pleased with that. Very pleased.
Yeah,
there was a beautiful pass on the last bend he did in one of his heats. I think it was against Tintin. It was heat 14, I believe. I think it was heat 14. Yeah, that was. And
no, I think it was earlier than that. I think it was.
Was it earlier
I
than
think
that?
It was heat 10. Yeah, I think
it was one of the heats where it was the last bend, and I don't know how he squeezed through, but he managed to do it.
Yeah, he did the same to me, unfortunately. Earlier in the meeting, yeah, I think it was heat 4. I was ahead of him, and somehow he got past me.
He looks up for it this year.
Yeah, I think he was the only one actually using the white bike, I think, as well, and it gave him a bit more speed coming off that corner. On the last bend, that was a bit. He obviously knows something that we don't, but yeah, he did ride very well. Obviously, as you said, Bewitcher leading by example, 13 plus 2 for the Piemen. Also, Paris, we'll have to mention him at number 1, doing a number 1 job there with 12 points. in his debut for the Pinemen. Obviously, Wolves, as you can see, their 3 heat leaders all scoring double figures, backed up well by Wolfie. Alan, you was on commentary for this one. What did you make of the meeting? Who stood out for you?
I actually was going to say that you'd mentioned Wolfie's pass on the outside in Heat 10, but Westy
Yeah.
Boy made a similar pass in one of the heats. I think it might have been just after that or just before it, on that outside line, and he made a real pass right to the end to Nick. I think it was must have been a heat advantage to pull it back, but yeah, some cracking racing that night, and both sides fought well and didn't be separated.
Yeah, it was a very good meeting. Obviously, I was a part of this one. It was a good meeting to be involved in. I really enjoyed it, obviously, as well. Taking one for the team. B Witcher did actually apologise to me after the match for taking me out, but obviously it's team first, and I said to him I wouldn't be getting a 5-1 in that race, so I've got no complaints at all there, to be fair.
And I practiced with both teams in the lead up to this, and looking at the way they were riding, they were riding totally different lines, and I thought, well, this is going to be a cracker, because they were riding different lines, they were using different bikes. I couldn't call it before the meeting. I couldn't call it. I thought this could go either way. It wasn't one of those meetings where you thought, oh, one team's going to have a real advantage. Just couldn't call it. I mean, everyone chipped in, even Liam with his 1 point, gave them the draw. But I mean, without his 1 point, they wouldn't have got anything. So everyone chipped in. Even Westerboy had 4 pretty poor rides, and then come up with a paid win in his last.
Yeah, to be fair, the effort he did actually, I said to him at the end of the meeting, he did put in a lot of effort, and he was quick chasing the goals. He wasn't getting the rub of the green, should we say?
He was never far off the pace, was he?
Yeah, he was. I said to him, he totally deserved that in Heat 13. So yeah, it was a really good meeting to start the season. Obviously, 45-45. I think we'll be a little bit happier of the two teams, obviously, with the 2 points, because I don't think many teams will go there and get too much, to be honest. So yeah, I'm pleased with that one, to be fair, for us Pinemen. That's weird saying that one, but we'll move on to the next fixture, which was the Plymouth Panthers versus the Hyde Spartans. And this one, again, had a bit of everything. A good start for the Panthers, and the Spartans seemed to turn it on in the second half of the meeting. Alan, your thoughts on the Panthers versus Spartans?
Yeah, it looked like a pretty close meeting. Kind of looked as if it was going to be a good battle. Before the meeting kicked off, I mean, both teams looked pretty strong on paper. To be fair, we didn't really know which way this was going to go, but started not badly for the Panthers, and then they kind of tailed off towards the second half of the meeting, and the Spartans just pulled away. They did try to claw back a little bit, the Panthers, but they just weren't much of a match for the Spartans, who managed to just pull a 6-point victory at the end. But gotta say, even just looking at Ryan at number 1, 14 points, you can't ask for more than that from your number 1. But yeah, it looks like it's not been too much of a few good clashes between each team, and some throwing scores back and forth between the teams. But all in all, it looked like it was a good meeting.
Yeah, I do agree there. Obviously, as you can see, the top 3 for the Spartans there, scoring 39 points between the 3 of them. I mean, that is some going. Obviously, each one of the 2, 4, and 6 all scoring 3 points, got the win there. It was just an interesting one because the Panthers started really, really well. Barney won his first 2 heats at the 2 fastest times of the meeting as well, I believe. Then they just faded off a little bit once the Spartans got that 5-1 in Heat 9. But no, it was another again close fixture to start the season. I think now Plymouth have had that home match that'll benefit them, because I think some of the Spartans were riding a slightly different inside line to what they were, so that'll help them as well. But no, it was another good one. Capesy, I saw his posts on social media. He was really proud and really with the effort of his team and how they all stuck together and stuck through it. And I think they'll causing a few people a few problems this season, the Panthers. But as you say, the Spartans there, I have to mention Toretto on the return, 13 plus 1. It's like he'd never been away. Shads, what was your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's another two teams I trained with during the week, and it was amazing because they were riding totally different lines. Again, I mean, Panthers are gonna take them a little while to get used to the track, because I don't think it was their first choice. I think they wanted to go with the Warriors' choice, so they were sort of like stuck with their second choice. So I think once they get used to the track, I think they'll be fine at home. It's I think this team looks like a team that could do well away as well.
Yeah.
Spartans, yeah, I mean Spartans, like that top three, like I said, it's giving me Storm vibes from last season. You're going to get 35 points from the top three. You should be getting 35 points every meeting, and then you've only got to look for like 11 points from the other four, for the other three to win meetings. That's what we looked at last year. This Spartan side looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, I do have to agree. It's very, very strong at the top end there. Obviously, they filled the spaces in well with the points. Rossi come out and won Heat 10 after scoring no points in his first three. They were missing Cappy, who didn't ride. I know he was in the chat as well. So obviously that was a bit of a strategy by DL Shaw and the Spartans. But it's good to see a new team, obviously. The Panthers coming into the game, and a returning team as well from the Spartans. And yeah, as Scotty B just said in there, Spartans are awesome for sure. Panthers were close. I think it's not going to be the only close meetings with these teams involved this season. So yeah, it's a good away start for the Spartans there. And I was also there, if you can see, number 6 for the Panthers for Chatting, who scored pretty well on his return. 6-1 from number 6 is a pretty decent showing. So as we move on to the final league match that we had this week, was the Hackney Norse versus the Rye House Warriors. And obviously there was a bit of history in this one, shall we say, from last season, with when the Norse surprised everybody by beating the Warriors. And they went and done it again. History does repeat itself. As you can see from the teams there, Fakey was actually at number 1. And they were missing the number 1, which was Max ST. So to still get the win over a Warriors team that includes Craig, Stephen, and Cam as well. It's a very good start for the Norse. And also, then 2 new riders as well got race wins, which I wasn't too surprised by. Dretlocker, obviously, we know what we've seen him in a few meetings, but Tarney also got that heat win in heat number 13, which gave them the 4-point cushion going into the nominateds, and all came down to the last heat, with Warriors needing the 5-1 for the draw, and it was the Norse who actually took the 5-1. So that was I'd say surprise. A few people were surprised. A few people are not. Obviously, there, Scotty saying that Norse told you so, and but I don't think they'll be making up the numbers as much this season at all. Every one of their team got a race win apart from Julio at number 2, who got a paid win. So I think they're going to be a lot tougher nut to crack this season, especially at home. If I can bring in Alan, if I may, what were your thoughts on this, Alan, with the scores?
To be fair, I'm not surprised that Hackney won this one again. Well, North won this one again. I don't particularly think that the Warriors obviously weren't as strong as they were last season, but I think North have certainly strengthened themselves up and have shown that on paper. And they certainly, as you say, won't be there to make up the numbers. So I think if anyone can beat them at home, it'll be a tough task to ask. But the Warriors gave it a good effort, but I think they'll be disappointed not to get some revenge on them from last season. I'm sure Tank will be gutted by that one, but I think they'll be looking to get revenge back at them when they each meet at Rye House. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that battle goes on when they both go head to head at Rye House.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see as well there, the Warriors. I didn't notice earlier, but actually 5 of their riders won a race as well. Returning, obviously there you can see number 2, Heppel, got a race win in heat number 10, and Badger was a bit slow starting, but he got that win in his 4th ride. And obviously you can see there in heat 5 as well, the Warriors played a tactical substitution as soon as they were 6 points down, with Craig coming in there for GPR, and that got them back into the match going into the second half of the meeting. But the Norse, obviously, no pushovers this season. Shads, what were your thoughts on
every one of them was paid for a win as well, which is and it's only took 25 races to win his first heat in sliders as well, which is impressive. But no, it was a great performance from North, but I'm still concerned about how they're going to do away from home, because I know they like the Hackney track, but whether they're going to sort of like practice enough to win any away meetings, I don't know. It remains to be seen. But I already written them off to finish bottom of the league, so I can't really change my mind now. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how they do away from home. But no, a good first meeting for them, and they're top of the league after the first week. Remarkable.
Yeah. How it changes from the first week last season, obviously, as well. There we can see the league table for what it's worth after the first round of matches, with the Hackney Norse on top on points different from the Spartans, with the Piemen in 3rd after 2 points for the draw, Wolves in 4th with the 1 point, the Cowboys yet to ride, and the Panthers and Warriors there in 6th and 7th. So that brings us to a new little segment we're going to have running this season, which will be, as Shads isn't racing this season, he's going to be picking his Rider of the Week. Each week we have league action. So over to you, Shads.
Saying that, Hads, I've probably done more laps this week than I have last season in the first week. I think I've been in everyone's server. I've been in everyone's server apart from North. I think I've been in everyone's. I think I've been in some servers more than some of their riders, to be honest with you.
I think Shads is just dangling for a return.
I did say to Mrs. Shads, I'm not going to race this season. I feel like take a bit of time off of STF, but I've been in every bleeding night so far.
You just can't get enough of it, can you?
Can't get. No, it's a server open. I think I'll just jump in. Yeah.
As you're the Scott Nichols of STS. Wasn't going to race in the Prem, and look how many matches he's done so far.
Anyone's open. I'm in there. But no, Rider of the Week. There's a few candidates. I mean, obviously you've got the top guys like Ryan Paris, Toretto. But for me, my Rider of the Week, his first proper league meeting, it's got to be Brett Locker. to come into your first meeting, score 11 points. I think that's pretty impressive, especially as a second heat leader.
Yeah.
So he is my rider of the week. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to go just for who scored the most points. I mean, that's a terrific performance. I mean, we did see him in was it one of the Norths meetings they did,
Yeah.
and he looked pretty good then. But I know two race wins as well to finish off with, and that sort of that match winning Heat 15 to beat
Yeah.
Craig as well, which is no mean feat. So yeah, he's my rider of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that one, Chad. 11 points, as you say, for Drek Locker, who we was having a little conversation earlier before we came on air. Actually, used the name Dan Bewley when he first started racing with the Norse guys. So we kind of knew he had something about him, but 11 points is mightily impressive. So congratulations there to Drek Locker on the Rider of the Week from Shads. And before we go into our little break, we're only going to be having one scheduled break this evening. We'll be having a little question, seeing as it is the British final tomorrow evening. I will be typing the question in chat shortly, but I'll let you know now. The question for tonight is: what year did Scott Nicholls win his first British title? And for bonus points, who finished on the podium alongside him? So that is: what year did Scott Nicholls win his first British title, and who else was on the podium? See you in 3. And welcome back to the All for Back podcast. Sorry. As you can see, the question was: what year did Scott Nicholls first win the British title, and who else was on the podium? And almost instantly, Mr. Craigie Hill, congratulations, sir! Bang on immediately. It was 2002, and it was Lee Richardson and David Howe. So well done, Craigie. Not too many guesses. And he says Mark Loman was 4th too, so we can have a bonus point. Yep, you can, because I didn't have that one. So well done. And our next little segment that we're going to be doing here is looking at riders that are new to the British League this season and having a look how they performed in the first round of league matches. So we have Barney, we have Dretlocker, who we spoke about earlier, we have Liam, and we have Carney. So we'll start off with Barney. As we bring in Shads, obviously, Shads, this was your idea to bring it to the podcast. Shads is actually on mute at the moment, I believe.
Well, I was watching
No,
the
he's
speed.
not. He's
Hello.
watching the Bandits.
Nothing happening at the moment.
So we'll go for Barney to start with. What did you make of his performance in the first week?
But I mean, he's not. I mean, he's not a total newbie. I think he had a couple of guest appearances last season.
Yeah,
a really good start. I think he had did he have the fastest time of the night in the first heat?
yeah,
And
that's
then,
right. Yeah.
another win after that, and he sort of fell away towards the end. But being new to the game, to the English game, I think he's pretty much a superstar in Poland. So I've been told, former Polish champion. I think he's going to be at number one, obviously, for the rest of the season. It depends if he's available, what his availability is like. I'm not quite sure if he's still riding in the Polish league and when they ride. But I think the team will be pretty pleased with his with the start he had to the season, and whether he'll maintain that 9-point average or not remains to be seen. But a good number one to have.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, obviously, as you mentioned there, the two started off with 2 heat wins, tailed off a little bit towards the end, but on his British League debut, 9 points is definitely nothing to be too displeased about. As we move on to our rider of the week, Mr. Dretlocker, obviously, as we mentioned earlier, 11 points from his 5 rides. Alan, if I may, were you surprised by the score from Dretlocker?
I'm going to be honest. No, I thought he might score a few points. To be fair, wasn't expecting obviously that many, but fair play to him. He's came in and he's put in a lot of points on the board for North, and I'm sure if he keeps that up, he'll be fighting for that number one race jacket in no time.
Yeah,
some really good results.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely one to keep an eye on this season. As we move on to our third rider, who made his actually British League debut this week, was Liam for the Birmingham Wolves, and obviously that again was streamed. Shads, what did you make of Liam this week? Obviously, he only got the 1 point.
Yeah, Liam struggled a bit, to be fair, but he wasn't off the pace. I mean, he was there. It's just little silly mistakes he was making. But he scored a point, which gave Wolves the draw.
Yeah,
But I think Silver's going to have to sort of like get him to calm down a little bit. Maybe a little bit too overexcited. Maybe trying to please Dad. Who knows? But no, I didn't expect him to score many. But to score a point at least he didn't come away with nothing. He probably did about as good as I did in my first ever meeting. So, and look where I am now. Still hanging around on a 5-point average.
Yeah, obviously said he was never far off. Obviously, I was in that meeting. He wasn't off the pace at all in any of his rides, I don't think. Obviously, we saw him before make some quick starts in previous meetings. So I think he'll pick up some important points, I think, for the Wolves.
Practice with them a couple of days before the meeting, and he was good, just making one silly mistake and going like from second to third or fourth,
Yeah.
just in one bend. So once he irons that out, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, that the point obviously we got in Heat 10 beating Westy Boy. So yeah, fair play to Liam. Didn't go home with nothing. And that point obviously got his team a draw. As the last rider we have on the screen is Tarney. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Again, we mentioned him for the Norse before. 5+1. He came in on his debut. We didn't know too much about him. Only one meeting I think he had at Coventry in the Norse meeting. So we didn't know what to expect. But Alan, what did you make of Tarney's score?
I mean, because he got his average. At the end of the day, he's got the points that I think he'd be expecting to get. I think he might be a little bit disappointed not to have got anything in his Heat 5 and Heat 11, but I think Fake will be happy that he got his average on the night and he got his 5 points, and I think he'll be happy, given it's his first kind of league match. He'll be happy that he settled in that way, and I'm only sure he'll get better as the season goes on, and I'm sure he'll be piling in the points for North, and he'll be a target man to watch for them. I'm absolutely sure of it.
Yeah. As you say, he rode to his average as well there, 5+1. Number 4. So steady job for his team in his first match, and obviously
When you look at the riders that have come in for Norton, who they've replaced, I mean, it's a definite upgrade. When you think of Penny and Brett Lock replacing, was it Jerobro and Pappy, was it?
Koba, I believe.
Koba,
Yeah.
sorry, Koba.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a definite upgrade. Both riders.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially Dretlocko, I think.
Yeah.
And obviously he was riding at number 5 normally. I don't think if obviously Max was riding, I think he'd have probably been at number 3. So to score 11 from
that's
number
another
5.
point. That's a good start that had when they never had their number
Yeah.
1, did they?
So fair play to for the Norse there, the two new Norse riders, and to Barney and to Liam, all contributing to their teams in the first week. Now, the next little segment we'll be having will be the Knockout Cup previews. And speaking of the Norse, we have first up, we have the Hackney Norse versus the Plymouth Panthers, which will be on Sunday at 9 p.m. Obviously, this is the two-legged round in the first round quarterfinals, as in each round. So, Shads, if I may, what's your thoughts on the upcoming Norse and Panthers? As I know you're doing the preview for this one.
Well, Panthers won't be relishing going to Hackney after their result last week at home to the Warriors. Remember, it's 2 legs, so they've always got the home leg to go. And North's obviously, looking at last year, not very good travellers. So I think Plymouth would go there thinking, just keep the scores tight, don't get battered, and they'll have a good chance in the second leg. I think. Is this being streamed? Did you say? Do we know yet?
We're not sure. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the Monday meeting that's streamed.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
I believe.
No. Thank you. I'd like to see this one to see what it's all about. See what the North's all about.
Yeah, obviously with the.
I'm sure they'll be covered at some stage this season. Trying to cover everyone equally, aren't we?
Yeah, obviously that's what we're going to be trying this season. Obviously, it depends on people refereeing and availability for a lot of us.
Before anyone complains that they're not being streamed, you might get the same teams being streamed for a couple of weeks running, but by the end of the season, we're hopefully, like I think we did last year, we're hopefully trying to include every team equally as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Will we see Max maybe for the Norse this week coming in, possibly, and obviously we have Craigie Hurl, who didn't ride for the Panthers last week, who could possibly feature for the Panthers. But I'm going to ask the score predictions for this one. First, we'll go Alan. What do you reckon for the score for this one?
Probably going to get a few dicks from the Plymouth team here, but I'm thinking Hackney, if they've got Max at number 1, going to be a tough team to beat. So I'm going to go 50-40 to Hackney. I think it's going to be an easy. I think they're going to get a good 10-point victory over Plymouth here. If they have the strength they can have on that team, difficult challenge for Plymouth to win at Hackney, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's got to be there, says McNally.
Yeah. As soon as you turn on your old teammates, you get the attack straight away.
Shads, what do you reckon for this one?
Yeah, I'm going along with most of what Alan said, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer. Without knowing the lineups, it's hard to give a score. But I think Norse will win, but I don't think they'll win by 10 points. I think it's normal like 6. And I'll back the Panthers to do it in the second leg.
Interesting there from Shads. Personally, I think it will be.
I'm only saying that
You're allowed to upset people this year.
I think I've upset enough people this year already. I've been racing for a week.
I'm taking Shad's job for the week of upsetting people. I've done it so far. I've still got 2 previews to go.
No, I think personally, I think it'll be another close one. I don't think there'll be too much in it. Like you say, I think it'll probably be a narrow home win, maybe 6-8 points, possibly. But I think it's going to be a tale of the 2 legs, and the Panthers will definitely fancy their chances at home, especially after they've rode already last week against the Spartans. So
I don't think that's going to be the way win for the Spartans this year. So Panthers should be too downhearted.
Yeah, absolutely. We move on to our second meeting, which will be on Monday at 8:30, and we have the Newcastle Parliament versus the Hyde Spartans. I'll come to you, Shads, first. Obviously, me and Alan may be involved in this one. So, what's your thoughts ahead of the Parliament versus the Spartans?
This is going to be a great. If we can get this stream, this is going to be a fantastic meeting to watch. Obviously, that Spartans top 3 looks epic. It's whether the rest can chip in as well. Remembering it's 2 legs, but the Piemen at home, I think will be a little bit too strong for the Spartans. But I don't know. I think it's going to be there might be more than 2 or 4 points between the teams. But I can't see the Piemen losing at home. I think it's going to be either a draw or a Piemen by 2, 4 or 4 points.
Confident. Well, obviously, me and Alan may be involved.
If Alan's involved, I'm going for a Spartans win.
No, to be fair to Alan, when we've been practicing, he's most definitely in the mix. And I think if he does void, I think he might surprise a few people, to be honest. Especially over the
yeah. I mean, I practiced with the Piemen the other night.
Season.
Alan wasn't in the serve. I think he came in as I left. So I've not seen him there yet.
Because you disappeared as that came in.
Yeah, no, I don't like.
You left.
Yeah, I was leaving anyway, but I don't like to be in servers when there's too many. It's not fair on the others.
No, because I said to him, "What have I done to offend Shads? I've only just came in, and he's already."
No, I was leaving. I was leaving anyway. I'd had enough of Newcastle, Alan. I'm keeping the fence repairers in business when I'm at Newcastle.
Yeah, obviously, it is a tricky one. Not
I
to
used to love that.
everybody's.
I used to love that track. I mean, I was captain of the Iceman in season 5. We won the league then. I had a 7-point average at home. I don't know what happened after that.
I remember a couple of seasons ago when was it the Phoenix? Was it the Phoenix who rode there?
Yeah.
And I used to love the green bike, especially on Newcastle. Takes some. Obviously, I haven't rode there a lot since. Obviously, takes a bit more getting used to with the different bogs and whatever. But I think it's going to be a really close one again for us this week.
It's so narrow on those
Possibly
straights,
even
isn't it?
another draw, and hopefully we'll be going. Obviously, we'll be going for the win. We're just hoping that we can. One of our obviously top three has a bit of a off day as well, and
I just think that timing is stronger at 4, 5, and 6. I think
yeah,
that might just sway it.
possibly. Yeah, I think we might have a bit of. Obviously, that's our first meeting at home of the season as well. There might be a bit of first meeting nerves for a few of us. But I have to say, obviously, the practice is some of the practice that have been putting in. I mean, especially Squall and Bewitcher this week. Bewitcher just he looks a different rider to me this season. I mean, I think obviously having Paris on board
Agreed.
is definitely helping with that. And but I think we're not obviously not going to make it easy for the Spartans. So it's going to be a good one, I believe. So what did you say score prediction, Chad? Do you reckon quite close one?
I think, yeah. Without, I mean, I'm not. Without knowing the lineup, I'll go for a home win by 2 points. And then don't forget you got Paris going back to Hyde Road in the second leg. I mean, he was brilliant around there last season.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously as well. I don't think there was a lot of teams who didn't practice Hyde. To be fair, in the track selection, from what I've heard, so it'll be interesting to see
terrific racing track.
how it goes. To be fair, so we'll move on to the last match of the week, which will be on Wednesday at 9 p.m. We will see the debut this season of the Poole Cowboys as they take on the Birmingham Wolves, and obviously Cowboys got a bit of a different look this season there with Stephen 101, Super Dip, Le Sorcier, and Lango in alongside the usual Bobby, Stefan, and Rico. The Wolves, obviously, they're led by Sizzler, Ads MFT, and JC, which is a strong top three again. Alan, if I'll bring you in, what are your expectations of the Cowboys in their first fixture?
Well, look, just looking at the top three, I mean, if three can ride like I know they can ride, then that'll be a tough three to beat for the Birmingham Wolves. But discount the bottom four because that's a really strong bottom four they've got to choose from. So they're not going to make it an easy task for the Wolves, that's for sure. But it's going to be a very cracking match to watch between the two sides.
Yeah, I do have to agree. Obviously, we're not too sure these Cowboys switched this season from Edinburgh. It didn't really work out for them there last year from their usual Glasgow, but they moved to Poole for this season. So, Shads, if I can bring you in, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys v Wolves?
Cowboys threw a bit of a curveball. I don't think anyone saw them going to Poole. Thought they might have picked something a bit more tricky. But no, obviously they're going to go into the meeting cold. They've not had a meeting yet. They've not raced at home or away. So I think Wolves will be quite confident they can go there and get some sort of result. I'm going to put my neck on the line and I'm going to go for a Wolves win.
Oh, interesting. Interesting there. A Wolves win, says Shads. Alan, what are your thoughts? Do you think the Wolves will win or the Cows will take it?
I don't want to say anything because I've already upset Scotty B far too much right now, going by the comment. So, it's going to be a tough one, but I think the Cowboys might just edge this one. I think they'll edge it. Not by much, but I think they'll edge it enough to get a comfortable victory, but not by too much.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another close one. I think a lot of matches will be very close this season. It's hard to say, obviously, with the Cowboys not having road in week 1. But I just look at that top 3, obviously, Stefan, Stephen, and Bobby. And obviously, you got Rico. If he rides, will be at number 2. But Wolfie, obviously, he went very well in his first meeting. So I think it's going to be. I'll go for a small Cowboys win. I'd say between 4 and 6 points. I can't see too much more. To be honest, I mean, it'd be interesting the choice of reserves for the Cowboys because obviously Le Sorcier, I've rode with him before, and we all know what Lango can do when he's fully focused. So yeah, I think it's going to be another close one. I think it could depend on the scores of Owen and Hutty and Liam on the away tracks for the Wolves this season to keep them in the meetings because their top 3, I think, are always going to be capable of scoring
I've got a feeling that Liam's going to miss this one.
double figures. Yeah, obviously it's not towards the match counter. So yeah, possibly.
I mean, you're 2 rounds away from a final, so you'd think they'd want to put their stronger side out if possible.
Yeah, obviously you said the
It's
match
really
counter.
weird saying put your stronger side out with Hutty in it. It seems a bit weird saying that.
Well, I'm not going to knock Hutty. Obviously, he upped his average last season, so
he did.
He hasn't rode this season yet. So obviously, Paul, I'm not too sure if it's been used. Obviously, the new track I don't think has ever been used in the league before. So it'll be interesting to see how the Cowboys go on their new home track. And we move on. Obviously, we have a couple more things left to get through before the end of the show, and we'll start with the draw. I think we are doing the draw next for the 4-team tournament because we drew when Tank originally drew the tracks. 2 separate tracks were drew for the semi-final and the final, but obviously, as you know, it's all in one evening, so the track is the same for both meetings, and it will be between a Wembley night and Hull Boulevard. So over to you, Tank, to do the honours. And the 4-team tournament will be at Hull Boulevard. No, Wembley is out of the equation, and it will just be Hull. And also in that 4-team tournament, we are obviously, we've got 7 teams in the competition in the league. So the 8th team will be a pool team, which will be believed to be captained by a certain Mr. Shads, I believe.
Well, I've been told. what a pool to choose from. I think there's only 4 of us.
Yeah. Obviously,
I'm
not
just
many.
I'm just counting Scully down because I don't think he can do a lap yet.
Yeah, he can be the
That's a
reserve.
bit harsh, Chad. Is that not a bit harsh?
No, it's true. Have you seen him?
I've seen him race. Give the guy credit. It is like his first season on the game.
I'll give him credit. He turns up.
I think if you give him a chance, Chad, you never know. He might surprise a few people.
He makes you look like Bartosz Smarzlik, mate.
I mean, I'll take it as a compliment, but I think it might be a little bit of an insult to world's famous Scotty Dad.
Scotty B saying, "Did he beat you, Alan?" I don't think he scored a
Can't
point
remember off the
actually.
top
No,
of my head.
no, I
I
don't
don't
think
think
he
he, I don't
scored.
think he finished the race. Had
I think he did, but he was obviously a lot
no.
behind, wasn't
Now,
he?
well, obviously we've got Limo, Unknown, me, and Smiler.
Yeah.
So
So
if
if
I
there
can
is
get
any
those,
riders,
if I can get
or
those four together, well, you've got other people on the list. I mean, people like Foggy might want to ride. He's not on
yeah,
the pool list, but he's on the available riders list.
I mean, if there is people out there who do want to
Yeah, I'm
get on
sure
the
I'll be able
pool
to
and signed
cobble
up,
4 riders together. I
well,
might even get out of racing myself.
yeah. So obviously, if there is people out there who obviously played the game before and they do want
It's
to
not
ride
till
and you,
September either, is it?
no, obviously, get them signed up on that pool list on the forum. So especially for the captains as well when they're looking for guests. So to know that more people are around to fill in the spots when required. So our last action of the night will be an announcement from Tank regarding the GP and SCS series. So
Oh yeah. Basically, due to ads MFT and that withdrawing because of the dates not tallying up for him and not being able to make them, we've had to revert to last season's finishing order to promote the one from the Slice Championship, which fortunately ended up being me. So I'm now in the Grand Prix next season, which resolves the referee issue that we were encountering before that. And then replacing me in the Sliders Championship, we had to go to the one next in line, which was David Nofi, who unfortunately isn't available to ride in the rounds because of personal stuff and work. So I went to the one next in line, which is actually Cam. So Cam is now a fully fledged Sliders Championship rider for season 19. So
yeah,
that's how it's all looking now. And also,
And he won't have to share a laptop with his dad.
and with me being the referee in the Grand Prix, Ben Thompson is going to be the referee in the Sliders Championship all season. So that's how the referee situation was sorted in the end.
Yeah, so there we go. You heard it here first. Tank will be promoted to the GP series. Unfortunately, ads, obviously the dates don't work out for ads, and Cam is promoted to the SCS series for the new season. So as we see a few comments there in chat saying that Cam will definitely be in contention. I couldn't agree more, to be honest, after his score, especially in his first meeting. So the GP's obviously still a few more weeks away, and we don't have too many riders available to fill the spots if people are unavailable. So again, it'll be first come, I think, if you're there on the night and you're available and you're not in one of the series. I mean, I know some of the Norse guys, obviously, they're always willing to race. So if any of those are listening, get your name down or contact us, and we'll be putting you on that reserve list. I think to fill some
7th of
vacant
July, I
spots.
believe, is the first round had.
7th of July, yeah. I can't remember.
I'll be on holiday, so I'll be missing it.
Shads is unavailable for the first round there as well.
Shame it's not the second round. I hate Buxton.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lot of people's favourite.
Nightmare.
So yeah, I think obviously next week will be obviously the same kind of format. We're not too sure if Dan will be back with us or not. Obviously, we'll give him a bit more time if needed to sort his sort yourself out, shall we say, and obviously get back to where he needs to be.
I'll be back, don't worry.
There he is.
Oh,
You
well
heard it
done,
from
Dan.
the man himself. He will be back. So apart
I
from
do
that,
miss him getting our names wrong, Hads.
yeah, I think I can't really get Alan wrong with Shads, can
No, he can't. No.
I?
Colin
Even-
North.
no.
So yeah, obviously, we'll be trying to. If you guys out there want anything, any ideas or new ideas or stuff for the podcast, obviously we're always trying to get new stuff across to the community. Obviously, we had the new rider focus this week. Next week will be the returning riders. We'll be looking at who have returned to the league for this season, and we'll be hopefully again streaming a Knockout Cup meeting, but announcement will be coming in the next couple of days regarding who's available from the media team to cover that this next week. So apart from that, I think it's been a quick one this week, just over an hour. So I'd like to thank Mr. Shads, Mr. Track Tester himself, Mr. Shads.
But yeah. Cheers, everyone. Yeah. Good show, mate.
And
And best of luck to all the teams next week in the KO Cup.
yeah, and Mr. Alan McNally, thank you very much for joining us and filling in this week.
It's a problem. I've enjoyed it. Sorry if I've offended too many people.
We don't worry about that, Alan. Don't worry about that at all.
Never bothered me.
And I'll see you in practice very shortly, Alan. Don't forget about that one.
Yep.
Good man. Good man. And apart from that, thank you all again for tuning in and keeping the podcast going. We'll be on episode 25 next week. So thanks once again, and we'll be seeing Dan return next week. But apart from that, thank you again for tuning in, and good night all.
Night, everyone.
Right, all.